Hello everyone. In this part, we are going to be adding events to our calendar. So, I am just going to start the server. After that is done, I am gonna open up my browser and just check if everything is working fine, just like we left it before. Because this time I am working on my uh, I'm working on my work laptop and not on my computer. So from start, first of all, I'm gonna start with adding the types for the events. So I'm gonna create a type called event. It is going to have an ID, which will be a string, a title, which is also a string, and pop-up content. This will be the JSX content that we will display when user clicks on the event to show the details. So previously I was using React JSX, but that doesn't seem to be importing it. Okay, so I'm just gonna reload my window. So I'm waiting for the initialization of the TypeScript and JavaScript language features, as you can see in the bottom. That also didn't fix it, so I'm just gonna use React Node or React or an array of React nodes. Then we are gonna have a date, which can be a JavaScript date object or moment object. Then we have an optional color, which will be a hex string. Then the next type will be of the events data, which will just be an array of events. Okay, I'm gonna save that. And you can add types for whatever you wanna show. This is just to show you an example of it. Now I'm going to define an interface for our events calendar, so user knows which props they can pass to it. The first item, I think I will just call it data, and this will be an events data type. The next one will be on data change. So whenever a user enters a new event, we will just pass this callback function, so the developer can store the new array of events into their state. Then I'm gonna just define it for the functional component and give it the props. That didn't import it for me, so I'm gonna do it manually. Just gonna destructure those. Now in the day component, where we will show the events. I'm gonna receive the props here for the events of that day. This will also be an events data type. Okay, on this system I have it set up so it removes all the semicolons, so that's why. So I destructure the events from there. Now below the day count, which is the item number, I am gonna display the events. This will be a grid of type container, and inside that I am just gonna map over the events that I'm receiving here. Okay, first of all, I'm just gonna display them in a typography. It is already imported. Now I'm just gonna pass the events here. Okay, now the events will be the data we are getting, and I'm just gonna filter it for that day specifically. So this is just a simple filter, and we are using moment, so it provides us with a nice function is same, which will just compare it with the date we are getting, and I want the comparison to be of same day. Back in the day component, okay, first of all I'm gonna go into the app component, and I'm gonna define some events that will be displayed by default. So I'm gonna define it outside the component. This data will be of type events data, and it will have an object, and as you can see, it will give us the intelligence for the types here. For the first one, I'm gonna use a date object for the current day, and the pop-up content for now will be just a placeholder text. And the title will be simple, just a test string. I am also gonna give it a color, just some random color. For the first one, I'm gonna give it a black color, The ID was a string. I'm gonna just duplicate that object and just change a few things here. For this one, I am gonna use a moment object of the current day, and I'm gonna subtract 2 days from it. The color will be just a different one this time. I'm gonna pass the data here, but first I will add it in a use state. For some reason, my VS Code just wasn't working properly. I don't know why it is happening. It might be because I installed Flutter on my system and Dart extensions. Maybe that is causing it, or maybe it is because I'm recording, because I also had another instance of VS Code active on my second monitor. That could also have been causing the problems here. So I'm just waiting for the JS and TS language features to initialize, and as soon as that is done, I will resume. Okay, so it is still not giving me any IntelliSense, so I'm just gonna manually import it. So I'm gonna pass the data here. And on the on data change prop, for now I'm just gonna console log it. Okay, I'm gonna create a new component for the events that we want to display. And from the start, I'm just gonna import some things because the auto import wasn't working properly. This will be a functional component. I'm gonna declare the props now. So the props that are going to be passed here are the event, and I'm gonna destructure that. Now, as you can see, because we passed the events, because we passed the data event of events, they are being displayed. Okay, I'm gonna use a grid here, and this will be an item. just gonna define some dimensions for it so it is responsive and doesn't take too much of the space, because we want to display multiple events here. Inside that we have a typography which will be a variant caption, and the component will be div because we wanna display it in a box. Okay, so another thing I'm going to pass here is the index of the event, because we want to display the number of the event here, and this will be just I plus 1. I don't know why I typed 0 there, but it is because first I'm gonna just remove this and use the event here. Pass in the required props here. The key will be the ID or the index. It is giving me this error. This is because the event type is the same name as the name of our component. So I'm gonna use a name alias for the event type. This should fix the error. Now I think I need to refresh the page. Yeah, that fixed it. So it is displaying 0 now. I will just change it to 1. Now I'm gonna just define some styling for the event. The background color will be event dot color, which is the color we passed in the data that we passed to the calendar, or this will just use the default theme color of MUI. The text color will be a contrast color of the colors we defined above, the background color we defined above. So this is event dot color, not simple color. The cursor will be a pointer. and I'm gonna give it a border radius of 5 pixel. So as you can see, we have our events displayed. Now I'm gonna show the pop-up content here. This was just going crazy. Okay, so when we click on the text here, I just wanna display the pop-up. Now I'm gonna display a dialog which the MUI provides. It takes an open prop, and depending on if it's true or false, it displays the dialog box. The onClose function runs when you click on the backdrop, basically. Inside that, I will show a dialog title. And this will just be event.title. And after that, I'm just gonna display the event.popup content. Now I am gonna, on data change, I'm just gonna set the data to the new events. This will come in handy later. Now if I click on the event, this will show a pop-up content. And you will see that the way I have this set up, the pop-up content can be used really flexibly. Here I am gonna show it in a dialog content text. This still didn't do anything for some reason. I think it might need to be refreshed. So I'm gonna go to MUI. And in the components, the dialog component, I'm gonna use an example they have here. This will be fine. So I'm gonna copy this, the content of it, and place that here. It is giving me an error because this is not a fragment. Okay, first of all, I wanted to auto import it, but it wanted to be wrapped with content first. So it is not giving me auto import options. First of all, I'm gonna delete these. now it is giving me. So I'm gonna auto import all the required components from MUI. Now this will work, and as you can see, as you cannot see apparently, I need to refresh it first. Now you can see that it is displaying the model properly. And you can also pass props here. Okay, so now I'm gonna create a component for adding new events. So this will be an interface, and it will extend the dialog props. This is so because we are gonna use the dialog of MUI. I want all the props that it has, and I'm gonna destructure them with the rest operator and just spread it inside the dialog of MUI. So this will give me all the options that the MUI dialog has, and I can also add more props to it. So first of all, it is giving me an error because it wants additional props. So it's telling me that if you are not adding additional props here, you should not extend it, because it basically creates an extra copy of it. But I want to extend it, so I'm gonna add this additional prop here, which will be an item of the day's grid. So here on the dialog title, this will be add new event on, and I want the item here, which I haven't destructured yet. So the item needs to be destructured before the rest operator, and this will be item.date.format, and I'm gonna use the format of double L. You can see this format later on. After that, I'm gonna add a divider which will be of lighter tone, then a form for the inputs of the title and the content text. Then I am gonna add an additional prop for the add new event function. This will be, it will just take a title of string and content of string as parameter, and will not return anything. I am gonna add it here on the on submit, but I also need to prevent the default behavior of the form. So I think I will just create a separate function here and prevent the default behavior right in this component, and don't pass it to the above components. For now, I'm just gonna give it a type of any, because I know what this is gonna be. So I'm gonna prevent the default behavior, and then I'm just gonna execute the add new event function. Instead of this, I'm gonna replace it with handle submit. Okay, in the form now, I'm gonna use a dialog content. Inside that, I think I won't need a stack here. So I'm gonna use a text field. This will be a variant of outlined. The first one will be of title, and I am using an outlined text field here, but that's just my preference. You can use whatever you like. For now, I'm gonna give it a title, value of title, and set the onChange function for it. I will create the states for it in a while. Okay, now I'm gonna first create the states for it. This will be an empty string. The second one will be for content. And this time the editor didn't catch me because I pressed escape to remove the pop-up of IntelliSense. This will be a type of this will be required, so the user doesn't enter an empty an empty title or content. I'm gonna give it a full width, change the label here, and this will be a multi-lined text field which will have rows 4, so user can enter more text here. And just gonna change these. Okay, after this I'm gonna use dialog actions. This will be the bottom buttons which will either add the new event to the data, or just close the dialog. So the first one will be a button that closes it, and the second one will be of type submit. So this will also work if user presses enter to add the event. That's why we were using the form here. I'm gonna destructure the on close here. This is the on close provided by MUI, which we extended, the dialog props that we extended before. So I'm gonna use the on close here to close the pop-up, which is giving me an error. Okay, so the error is because the onClose function expects an event object and a reason for closing the pop-up. So I'm just going to pass those events, the required parameters for it, and it needs a reason for it, which Any reason would work here, honestly, because it's our custom event and this is just an empty object. So that should fix it. Okay, now it is giving me an error because this is an optional prop. So I'm just going to add a question mark dot here, so it only runs it if it is defined. After that, now I'm gonna import it after I add this comment here. So I named it new event dialog. Now I just need to pass the required props to it. Okay, first of all, I'm gonna create a state to show it. My VS Code is going insane again. So finally, it worked. Okay, so the open prop will be the state I just created, and the onClose function will just close the pop-up. I will define the add new event function in a second here. Okay, now I first need to decide whether I want to keep it here, the add new event function, or do I want to lift its state up. Now in the package I created, which is published on npm for this component, in that I am using state React context API to have global state of the calendar, and I am just storing the function to add new event in that state. So, but I am not using a state here, state management here. So I think it would be best if I lifted the state up here, because I want to pass the new events that are created to the on data change function. So first of all, I'm just going to check if the title or the content and the content should not be empty. This is just a secondary check, so the user doesn't add it. Then I'm gonna create a new array here, and now this is the problem here. This is why I need to lift the state up. So I need to spread the data I am getting from the in the main component file, and I need to I need to spread it in this new data array. So it would be best to just lift the state up, because I am also passing a filtered data array in the events prop to the day component. So I'm just gonna lift the state up here and pass the function of adding new events to this component. So this will be of same type. It will just take title, which will be of string, and content, which is also a string. And first I'm gonna destructure it here. And here the problem is okay, that was fixed automatically. So in the new data array, it is not giving me IntelliSense again. In the new data array, I am just gonna push a new object inside it. And I need the theme of MUI here. So the new event that is added will have the primary color of the theme. Okay, so the new event that is going to be added will have the title. The pop-up content will be the dialogue content, and inside that I'm gonna have dialogue content text, and inside that I'm gonna put the content that the user typed in the text field. The date will be item.date. Okay, so I also need to pass the date here, and I also need to update it here. Actually, now that I am recording the voice for it, I am seeing that I don't need to actually update it here. I could have simply just passed the date from here as well in the day component. Okay, it's giving me an error because I'm not passing the date here. So that will give me the date of it. I need to accept it here now. Okay, the color will be theme's primary color. And after I have added the new event, I'm gonna execute the onDataChange function and pass it the new data array. So this is an optional prop, so I need to execute it only if it is defined with the question mark dot. So now okay, I have forgotten to add the on click on the event on the day basically. So this will display the new event model. Okay, so I'm gonna give it a cursor of pointer. That should do it. Also, I'm gonna just give it a type here. This is a form event. Okay, I'm gonna just instead of that, I think I would just import the type directly. This is the form event, and I'm gonna give it a type of form event, and the generic type will be HTML form element. So as you can see now, this will have the prevent default function here. Now when I click on this, it will show the pop-up. Okay, so if I add it, this adds the event, but I forgot to close the modal here. I will just do it here in the handle submit. Same as before, the onClose function with an empty object and any reason, because we're not really using we're not doing anything with the reason. So now if I add a new event, the event is added and the modal is closed, and the rest works as intended. I need to add question mark dot here. Okay, after that I think I would need a stack here, because I can also use a stack, or I could just define a margin bottom for the first text field, but I'm just gonna use a stack here and give them a gap of 1 em. Okay, now if I open it, as you can see, it is a little spaced out, but the text is not reset. If I add it, as you can see, there are 2 events there. Okay, I would say that finishes off this series. One thing I would like to do is just reset the text fields state. Okay, with that I think this series is finished. If you want to see more features added to this, you can comment them below. We can create I can show you how to create a component library from this, or how to add storybook to this, and we can also add other things, like we can pass a theme to it, and just so for example, if user is already using an MUI theme in their project and they want to use the theme in this component also, so we can also accept a theme from that and just extend the theme inside here, create another theme provider and extend it with this. That would straight up work. And yeah, now I think I will create new videos about other stuff. Maybe I will do some videos about SVG animations, creating SVGs in Adobe Illustrator and animating them using CSS and in React or Framer Motion. So if you think that is something you would like to see, consider subscribing to the channel, and if you enjoyed the video, please like it, and I will see you in another video.